Hello everyone, this is Gayathri and Radhika back with a video on the occasion of Akshaya Tritiya, the day that holds promise of eternal well-being and prosperity. Largely popular for being a shopping-centric festival, Akshaya Tritiya falls on the third day of the lunar month Vaishakha. The day has a singularly remarkable aura as any action performed on Akshaya Tritiya is believed to secure permanence for eternity. In this video, we delve into the stories linked to Akshaya Tritiya that shed light on its highly auspicious nature, and we reveal the traditions followed on the sacred day derived from each of those anecdotes. First, it is the day Parvati appeared in the form of Annapurna, the deity of food and nourishment. Once, when Shiva, being his ascetic self, states to Parvati that people could survive without worldly pleasures, including food, Parvati, being the nurturer of all beings, takes up the challenge to disprove Shiva's claim. She extinguishes every source of nourishment from earth and herself disappears. Within a few days, exhausted and starving, sages, demigods, people alike rush to Shiva in a desperate plea for food. Shiva's search for Parvati eventually takes him to Kashi, as it is the only place where he sees people looking hale and hearty even as the world was in a crisis. There he finds Parvati seated on a throne in her magnificent form of Annapurneshwari, offering food to the countless hungry people approaching her for alms. Admitting his error in judgment, Shiva requests Parvati to provide food and satiate the hunger of his devotees. Having proved her point that food is not pleasure but in fact a necessity, Parvati makes the world bountiful yet again and returns to Kailasa. In honor of Annapurna, on Akshaya Tritiya, people donate rice, fruits, vegetables, clarified butter, salt, and other essentials to the needy and organize community feasts. Second, it is the birthday of Parashurama, Vishnu's sixth avatar, who was born to sage Jamadagni and Renuka. Parashurama had the qualities of a warrior due to the interesting circumstances that led to his birth. King Gadi's only child, Satyavati, marries sage Rachika. Several months later, Satyavati's mother approaches sage Rachika to help her conceive a son, as they had no heir for the kingdom. Sage Rachika readily agrees and prepares a potion for the queen to beget a king-like warrior son, along with which he also makes one for his wife Satyavati to conceive a son with the qualities of a sage. However, assuming that Rachika would have chosen the better son for himself, the queen exchanges her potion with an unaware Satyavati. Thus, through the potion meant for Satyavati, the queen gives birth to Vishwamitra, who, despite being born in a king's lineage, ends up becoming a sage. On the other hand, since Satyavati was innocent, she is freed from bearing the consequence of her mother's action, and instead, the effect of the potion she mistakenly drank is deferred to the subsequent generation. Hence, Satyavati's grandson ends up possessing the qualities of a warrior, who is none other than the fierce and terrible Parashurama, who goes on a warpath to eliminate the entire clan of wicked Kshatriyas from the world. This day, thereby, is also known as Parashurama Jayanti, where people offer their respects to the immortal Parashurama, visit temples of Vishnu and Lakshmi, and engage in other spiritual activities. Third, the holy river Ganga is said to have been brought from the heaven to the earth on this day. Once, the Suryavansha king Sagara's 60,000 sons woke up a meditating sage Kapila by accusing him of having stolen their father's Ashwamedha Yajna horse. They get instantly reduced to ashes due to the sage's tremendous powers. After informing Sagara of the unfortunate incident, Kapila advises him to invoke the holy river Ganga from Devaloka to give deliverance to his sons. To bring Ganga down from heaven, Sagara's grandson Anshuman begins the penance, which is continued by his son Dilipa and followed by his son Bhagiratha. Finally, after 3 generations of penance, Ganga is pleased with their devotion and grants their wish. As she descends, Shiva breaks the force of her fall in his matted hair, after which she flows down gracefully to earth. Bhagiratha then leads her to the place where Sagara's sons were turned into ashes, and ultimately he succeeds in liberating their souls. Based on this anecdote, people take a dip in Ganga or other holy rivers on Akshaya Tritiya to absolve of all sins. They also perform rites for the departed souls. Fourth, Akshaya Tritiya is the day when Kubera was appointed as the treasurer of the gods and became known as the god of wealth. Born to sage Vishrava, Kubera is the older stepbrother of Ravana and was in charge of ruling Lanka. Being envious of Kubera, Ravana undergoes multiple penances and becomes powerful through the boons given by Brahma and Shiva. Then he usurps Kubera from Lanka and snatches his aerial vehicle, the Pushpaka Vimana. He further issues a threat that anyone who tries to provide Kubera shelter would be destroyed. Dejected and homeless, Kubera follows the advice of his grandfather, sage Pulatsya, and heads to the forest to meditate on Shiva. Shiva eventually blesses him and appoints Kubera as the treasurer of Devaloka and presents him the beautiful city of Alakapuri, built by the divine architect Vishwakarma. In tribute to the god of wealth, people throng jewelry stores to purchase gold and precious stones as a token of good fortune, thereby giving Akshaya Tritiya the complexion of a shopping-centric festival. People also indulge in high-value monetary investments like property, land, and vehicles. Furthermore, the businessmen consider it profitable to start their audit notebook for the year on Akshaya Tritiya. Fifth, this day is linked to the event when the Pandavas received the Akshaya Patra. This happened during the time when the Pandavas, namely Yudhishthira, Arjuna, Bhima, Nakula, and Sahadeva, were serving their 13-year term of exile along with Draupadi after losing the infamous game of Chaucer through Shakuni's trickery. With the meager resources in their possession, Draupadi is concerned about hosting the numerous sages, dignitaries, common people, and kings who visited them to express their shock and solidarity. To ease her worries, Yudhishthira prays to Surya, standing in water for days together. Surya appears and presents Yudhishthira the Akshaya Patra, assuring him that this magical vessel would be an inexhaustible source of food and will keep refilling until Draupadi finishes her meal. Similar to his providence to the Pandavas during their time of necessity, people consider Surya the primary reason for getting ample crops that ensures their well-being. In gratitude to him, it is customary to buy rice on Akshaya Tritiya. In the rice-eating belt of India, especially in the east, the first plowing for the Kharif farming season starts on this very day. Sixth, it is the day when Sudama visited Krishna in Dwaraka. Sudama and Krishna were childhood friends, having studied in the same school under the tutelage of Guru Sandipani. After schooling, a grown-up Sudama and his family continue to live in poverty, while Krishna becomes the prince of Dwaraka. When their economic condition worsens, Sudama's wife advises Sudama to ask help from his friend. Refusing to go empty-handed, Sudama carries a pouch of puffed rice as a token for Krishna and sets out to Dwaraka. Krishna is delighted to see his dear old friend and welcomes him with open arms, treats him with utmost humility, and serves a feast for him. On Krishna's persistent inquiry about the contents of his pouch, Sudama, embarrassed at his modest gift, reluctantly presents it to Krishna. However, Krishna is overcome with happiness and states that it is the best meal he had ever had, leaving Sudama in awe. Overwhelmed by Krishna's love and hospitality, Sudama leaves Dwaraka without asking any favor from Krishna. However, to his disbelief, when he returns home, he is greeted at the sight of a grand palace standing in place of his hut, and his wife and sons looking well fed and decked in rich robes and ornaments. Thus, Krishna fulfills Sudama's wish, even without him stating it explicitly. Taking inspiration from Krishna's unconditional love, friendship, and compassion for Sudama, people try to help the poor by donating them food and sponsoring the education of kids who are unable to afford it. Seventh, it is the day sage Vedavyasa started to document the longest poem ever written, the Mahabharata. When Vyasa decides to create a physical record of the Mahabharata, he requests the learned Ganesha to help him inscribe it. Ganesha accepts the task, but being his mischievous self, he lays the condition that Vyasa had to dictate such that there are no breaks in his writing. Agreeing to his quirky demand, Vyasa begins to recite the epic, which Ganesha promptly inscribed onto one paper parchment after another. Even while abiding by Ganesha's condition, the wise sage devised a clever way to buy moments for himself. Whenever he needed a break, Vyasa would intentionally slip in difficult verses, forcing Ganesha to go slower in his writing, as he would take time to decipher the complexity of the verse. By continuing this routine for days together, Vyasa, with Ganesha's able assistance, successfully accomplished his dream of archiving the Mahabharata and enabling the stirring saga of human conflicts to reach mankind. Since this epic poem of extraordinary length, interwoven plots, and complex characters could be written to completion after starting on Akshaya Tritiya, people consider the day to be extremely favorable to achieve success in any new venture. Taking the blessings of Ganesha, they commence to learn a new course, undertake a new voyage, or lay the foundation to set up their own business. Thus, it is evident that Akshaya Tritiya is not just merely an occasion for shopping, but has deeper layers of significance attached to it. United in the underlying theme of eternal well-being, the insightful tales that grace Akshaya Tritiya reveal the mantra to having a contented and successful life. In essence, the stories highlight the importance for every person to start afresh each year with renewed abundance of compassion, courage, diligence, and an inexhaustible thirst for knowledge, as those are the very pillars that lead to abundance of food, water, and wealth, the three components that guarantee everlasting good fortune and prosperity in life. May this Akshaya Tritiya bring in boundless joy and peace in your lives. Here's to new beginnings. Namaste.